Hello, welcome to Drawing with Cree. Today I have a bird drawing tutorial for you. We're going to start with the absolute basics and use simple shapes to draw a bird. We're going to then build on it and turn it into a three-dimensional form. Finally, we're going to learn how to ink it with a brush pen and a gel pen. Let's get started. To sketch my bird, I am using a Staedtler 4B pencil. I also find that when I sketch with a pencil that's slightly blunt, it's a lot easier to draw lines. But of course, that's personal preference. Pick a pencil that you like. To start drawing the bird, I'm going to start with two circles. One for the head and one for the body. When I draw the body, I want to ensure that the angle of the body in relation to the head is correct. So now that I have my two circles, I'm just going to add a little indication for where the beak is going to go. All right, let's attach the head to the body. And now I am going to work on the overall contour of the bird. When you study the bird, you'll notice that it's not all perfectly round. There are certain angles to it. Focus on the outermost edges and don't get distracted by all the details within. When you draw the wings, I would recommend to group them together. You'll notice that they form a shape. Like in this instance, it's a little bit like a triangle. When we group them, it becomes a lot less overwhelming with all the details. And we have a little bit of triangle at the back of the wing that's behind on the other side. Now that I have the overall contour, let's add the beak and the eye. I notice that the eye is in line with the beak. The eye is not a perfect circle. You'll notice that there are actually two curved lines joined together. Let's add some legs. I notice that there's a bit more volume towards the lower end, and I'm just going to gesture the claws. Now I can go ahead and gesture in the pattern that gives the robin its distinctive look. And there we have it, the very simple basics of drawing a bird. Let's go ahead and build on this. We will draw a bird in the 3/4 angle. Again, drawing a circle, just keeping my hand loose, going over the same spot repeatedly until I find the shape that I like. So for this one, I'm going to start off by giving some volume to the spheres. I'm adding some cross contour lines to help me understand the angle of the body and the head. Already the two circles look more voluminous. Now I can go ahead and add the overall contour, join the head and the neck to the body. Again, using the similar principle of using the sections of the wing together and thinking of them as shapes rather than individual feathers, not getting distracted by all the details. Let's add the tail. Just going to put a little section where I'm going to mark off where the feet are going to go. And then I'm going to add the branch on which it's sitting. Now that I'm happy with the overall shape, I'm going to go in and add the beak. You'll notice that the beak extrudes from the center of the head. And again, keeping in mind that the eye is in line with the beak. Now I'm going to add the orange feathers, gesturing it. If you look at a robin bird looking directly at it, the chest facing you, you will notice that the marks on the chest kind of look like a heart, an upside down heart. Okay, now we have the scaffolding onto which we will build more details. We'll get to that, but I will sketch another example for you. So building on the same concept earlier, we're going to draw another bird, and this time we're going to ink it and we're going to use a gel pen for highlights. Similar to earlier, we're going to start with a circle for the head and a circle for the body. If you have been following along, this should be self-explanatory. To start inking my bird, I am going to be using the Pentel Brushpen. I like brush pens because they can create a variety of lines, both thick and thin, and they have a lot of character in them. Pressing down lightly for thinner lines and pressing down harder to create thick lines. To create the illusion of feathers, I'm using small dashes, slightly curled. I'm trying to use the tip of my brush to create these fine lines. I'm trying to look for shapes that bind all the parts of the bird together. When I'm inking my bird, I'm trying to focus on the overall shape of the bird before I get into the details. I try to work from macro to micro to ensure that I'm not focusing on too much of detail and then losing sight of the overall picture of what I'm trying to draw. I think when we're drawing, we want to be able to capture the personality of what we're drawing. And when it comes to line work, you want to pick your lines accordingly. Drawing the feet can be quite tricky sometimes. So how I approach it is I tend to look at how the different joints form. So if you notice at the knuckles, it is thick, it tapers through the length of the digit, and then it's thick again. You'll notice that different birds have different types of claws, and the numbers will vary. So for the robin, it's 3 in the front and 1 at the back. If you want to draw the exact same bird that I'm drawing, I have linked the reference in this video. It's a royalty-free image from unsplash.com. To draw the branch, I'm going to try to use uneven lines to get the texture of it. Even smooth branches tend to have bits that are uneven, and you want to include that. In the next part of this sketch, I'm going to be focusing on distinguishing some of the feathers and the patterns, but still working on the overall composition. As I draw the feathers, I want to maintain the unevenness of it. If I make it too even, it will look unnatural. As you're drawing the bird, you will notice that the feathers kind of take U-shaped patterns as they follow the contour of the body. As I colored in the eye, I want to make sure that I leave some space for the highlights. To add more details, I am going to use a 0.2 fine liner pen. I'm building the density by drawing a lot of small dashes to give the illusion of the feathers. I don't want my sketch to be very detailed, so according to that, I'm going to fill in detail, but not getting sucked into every single thing that I see. I noticed that there is this slight curve of feathers where the head joins the neck, and as I'm sketching and drawing these little dashes, I want to be able to create that slight separation between the head and the body with the indication of feathers. Now I'm going to go back to my brush pen because I think that this section could use a broader brush. As I draw the branch, I want to put some thin curved lines to give the branch a bit of texture. And because I don't want to detract from the bird, I'm going to keep my lines as simple as possible. Now for the fun part. I'm going to be adding the highlights. I'm trying to focus on only the lightest parts of the bird, and I don't want to overdo all the white areas. What I'm aiming for is just a little bit of contrast. I'm trying to look for the lightest parts and adding them to my sketch. The gel pen that I'm using is the Uniball Signo white gel pen. I hope this video has given you some ideas on how to draw birds. If you liked this video, don't forget to let me know. Leave a like. Comment which was your favorite part. And most importantly, if you do draw this bird, share it with me. I'd love to know how it went for you. Hi, did you know that I have a newsletter? In my newsletter, I cover the right tips, tricks to develop the right habits and mindset that will help you develop as an artist. I also cover personal stories from my own creative journey. If that sounds good to you, check out the link below, and I'll see you there.